Hello Internet, I am SamMunition and welcome back to Space Engineers Survival. This episode, I want to build a mining vehicle to get more specific ores than just mining generic rock, and I think I want to go with a wheeled vehicle just to change it up a bit. So let's get down to the heart of this thing. Now before we start, I want to quickly throw some extra thrusters onto our shuttle, since it was so adequately demonstrated last time that coming back from space with ore in tow, it causes some issues stopping. So we'll park the shuttle just overhanging the pad here so that we can get at the belly of the shuttle easier. There we go, so we're locked on the front landing gear. And I think I want to replace these two front thrusters with large thrusters. Grab some components here. And done. So let's take a test drive down to our mining rig and we'll get a hold full of ice just to see how she handles. And locked. And we'll give it just a moment to fill up the holds here. Alright, so we're back up at base, and it looks like we're good with the shuttle. Handles fine. So onto the miner. Let's set up a new toolbar. We're going to want landing gear just for the construction cradle. Armor blocks. We're going to want hinges, as I've got an idea for how I want to mount the drills. Industrial cockpit, well, of course industrial cockpit. And drills, of course. And batteries, so we can get everything up and running. That'll do for now. Let's get a platform to build on down first. Okay. And we'll go 4 up, and I'm going to want quite a wide wheelbase on this one, so we'll start at 7 blocks wide rather than the usual 3 or 5 that I would go for. Yep, and we'll throw some hinges on the front.
Fuel critical.
And place the drills down. Well, that hinge is falling over. Right, we'll grind that off and we'll replace it later. Let's replace them with the correct orientation. And we'll throw a drill in place just to hold on to it. That does not want to place. Okay, screw it. We'll put the drills on first and then we'll replace the hinges later. Okay, so there we go. And there we go. Let's weld them up with what's on hand just to get a feel for how this will look. Yeah, that all looks nice and sturdy. But we're going to want some chunky wheels on this rig. Yeah, that's a tasty looking front end. Throw the cockpit on. Get that in place. And we're going to want a large container or two. And a connector. Now that looks too stubby. Okay, so we're going to want some hydrogen engines on this thing for like long term away from the base operations. So we're going to need some hydrogen tanks. That'll give us a central point to connect to. Oh, that's not centered. Okay, so we've now got 4 hydrogen tanks, 2 on each side. And we'll throw some engines on top of here. I want 2 or 3 on each side. I'll start with 2. Okay, now we'll move back to 3, and we'll weld them up as far as we can, just with the components that we've got on hand. There we go, and that's the back end done, with the connector in place. And I'm thinking we throw on the wheels and see how she looks. Yeah, that's more the kind of dimensions I'm looking for. Like, they're too far apart. I think I want them closer at the back than that. That's more like it. So we'll weld these up just to make sure that it all looks okay. Come on. Time to take her off the cradle. Okay, she's now on her own wheels. Just one more bit of the cradle to get off. Ah, I'm stuck. Let's rotate my way out of there. Let's go for a spin and test the concept out. There we go, and we can raise the drills up for transport. I'm not in love with the all-wheel steering. I might just lock up the back wheels. Oh, she's got a fair turn of speed. Let's grab some rock here, just as a test of the drills. grab some ice as well, just so we can start getting our H2 tanks filled from the generator behind the cab. There we go, just a wee drop. Alright, we'll head back up to the pad. I am noticing some ground clearance issues, but we could probably fix that just by jacking up the suspension. Okay, into the time lapse. And we'll throw on a splash of colour just to make it look like construction equipment. This block is belligerent. We'll come back to it. And the same one on this side. And I've painted the pad. Brilliant. I want to leave the drills grey, just almost like bare metal. Yeah, that at least starts to give a rough idea of what the front end will look like. We'll get some lights on the back here. And I'm going to weld these up and jump into the cockpit. And I want to change those lights over to red, so I can have some like tail lights. Yes, that looks a business. So we'll jump into a time lapse for the detailing. Just it's a lot of tedious work and way more than I considered. Yeah, okay, so we've got one whole side done, and it's basically just going to be a mirror on the other side. But you can see here how the rig will look in general. And if we raise up the drills, this will how it'll look for both storage and for driving, so I've got the better visibility. Okay, on to the other side. Right, now, due to no fault of my own... Okay, so due to no fault of my own, I lost the footage of blocking out the other side and moving the miner down to the... or moving the rig down to the miner base. But we've got a hooch in place, and it's kind of plumbed into our storage bin so we can connect up when we come back from a drill and run. But we'll go for a test run. We're not going to go over any specific ores. I'll go over to where I know there is a decent amount of deposits. Might not get anything, just because I don't want to go in too deep on this one.
Hey, phrase it!
But it's nice and stable, and yeah, she has a decent turn of speed. Alright, so we bring it down into the mining position. Oh yeah, there we go. Look at that sweet hinge action. Alright, we'll head for home here. And when we're coming back into the hooch, we've got a reversing cam to make things a bit easier. We've got these two strips just to keep us kind of on target. And then when we're lined up with the connector, I've got buttons keyed on the hotbar that changes the suspension so it can drop us down. Can line it up. And we should get it to turn yellow. And there we go. So we'll leave it here for now. Next time we'll really push to get our drilling done, and then we'll start to turn it into a silo base. So thanks very much for joining me, and we'll see you again.